I don't know. I do this.
Okay, I haven't really ever made a video on like a TV show before, but I really love The Boys. The Boys is about to show with this group, known as The Boys, that try to take down corrupt superheroes across America.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
They kind of took a realistic approach of what a superhero would be like in real life. While I don't think it's 100% accurate, and I think it's a really interesting way to see how superheroes would just be in the real world.
That milk comes from only the youngest and healthiest God-fearing cows.
And honestly, for the people that are like, oh my gosh, season 4 is too political, you haven't been watching the show, man. But I am not here to talk about the political terms or anything like that of The Boys. Today I'm talking about specifically Homelander.
Happy birthday, Homelander.
Thank you.
I can see your girdle, you disgusting fat fuck.
Now, Homelander is a very interesting character because he's just so complex. I feel like calling him a evil Superman is such a disservice to his character. Well, of course, he's supposed to be a Superman, like stand-in, quote-unquote. He's not just an evil Superman. If anything, I think he's anything but. But there's a lot of interesting conversations on who would win between Homelander and the character and other things like that. And personally, I think Homelander loses a lot of his matchups. Despite this, however, I do think this is pretty much in character for Homelander, and majority of the time, whenever he has a good matchup that he wins, it's always like basically just the same character as him, and I find that really interesting. But I'll explain that when we get there. First of all, let's talk about his character. Now, I'm not the biggest intellectual analyzationist guy or whatever, but I can see where Homelander's character is and how he's portrayed. Homelander, again, as I said before, is supposed to be the icon, the American symbol, the perfect man, essentially, when he's anything but. He craves idolization for love and... what's that word again? It starts with an A. See, I was gonna cut this out, but you know, I feel like we should do this together. I guess attention. I don't really think attention was where I was going for, but it fits anyway. And we see this throughout the show. For example, in the mirror scenes where Homelander is staring at his mirror and he talks to a alternate personality of himself, similar to the Green Goblin and like Norman Osborn. Yeah, I don't know why my brain zoned on Norman Osborn. To be fair, I'm not thinking of Norman Osborn every day. Now, inside, Homelander is a shallow, weak, frail person that really only wants love and attention, but he's very self-centered and very, you know, insane. However, a really interesting point is that Homelander really wouldn't be like this if not for his comeuppance, essentially. Homelander was born and raised in a lab, tested day after day, month after month, year after year, being essentially tortured and manipulated and such until Homelander became the person that he was today. Unlike these sort of characters, while on one hand they're a horrible person, but on the other hand, not that it's not their fault, because once you become an adult, you can make your own decisions, and so I don't think it's very fair to say, oh, well guys, it's not his fault that he burned down an orphanage. Like, yeah, you were raised horribly and probably got a lot of trauma, but I'm not forgiving you for burning down an orphanage. Now, even though Homelander is a very weak, shallow person on the inside, he's actually still very smart and cunning. Homelander makes sure to see all his cards and make sure everything goes his way. Taking a ride from Butcher's wife, using Starlight. He's also a very intimidating individual, and that's like thanks to his actor. Anthony Starr is so good at his character that I genuinely just can't separate him from Homelander. I feel like if I saw him in real life, I genuinely would be terrified. Jokes aside, very good actor. Now, his powers are very simple. He has heat vision, super speed, super strength, flying. The iconic four, essentially. Now, time to get into Homelander's weaknesses. Now, while yes, he's a very strong individual, being able to basically kill anybody in like the entire verse if he wants to, he's pretty weak. If anyone is on even a close amount of his power, he kind of just gets overwhelmed. For example, my queen, Queen Maeve. I love you, Queen Maeve. Queen Maeve consistently trains, and I think the reason why they showed us her training is because They want to prove the point that anybody with any sort of fighting experience, being in fights in general, just kind of make you stronger than Homelander, at least in terms of experience. Because Homelander is a big fish in a small pond. He's very used to just like being able to take down anybody and everybody. So he never really has to fight. But when there's someone on his level or slightly below it, he gets overwhelmed. And that's the thing. Homelander is strong because of his power. Without his power, he's very just weak. So now on to the point of view. So then we get on to power scaling. Now, of course, Homelander has done some impressive feats. For example, he's able to basically wash Soldier Boy, who was able to do this feat, which should be around building level in terms of strength. However, for those that know power scaling, it's not really that strong. Even assuming now Homelander is massively thousands of times stronger than him, he wouldn't really get that far. Now you're probably thinking, Fade, what characters can beat him and why? There are a lot of characters, and I mean a lot of characters that can beat Homelander. So I decided to start with some of the superheroes, because typically a lot of people compare Homelander to other superheroes and just the boys to other superhero versions in general. For one thing, Ben 10. Now I'm not talking Ben 10 with Alien X, I'm talking Kid Ben 10. This Kid Ben 10. Honestly, I genuinely believe that Ben 10, even without his aliens, could probably just kill Homelander on accident. Ben's aliens have done so much feats in the past, and Ben himself has probably just tanked a lot of hits from other characters to the point where even if you say that Ben wouldn't be very strong, which is fair, because Ben as a kid probably just isn't very strong, Homelander probably just wouldn't be able to hurt him. But, you know, sure, Ben 10's pretty OP anyway. People compare him to some of the most powerful characters in fiction. What about some other characters? Our next character I had to bring up was Spider-Man. A lot of people say that Spider-Man loses to Homelander, and I just could not wrap my head around that. Now, of course, Homelander, again, is very dominant in his verse. I guess that's fair. But Spider-Man is just also very dominant in his verse. Like, have we not seen him beat up Galactus? Now, of course, some people might say, oh yeah, but all of his feats are outliers. Well, even then, a lot of Spider-Man's enemies are just stronger than Homelander. You say what you want, but this nigga right here, this fat ass with tentacles, still whoops Homelander. Now, we know Soldier Boy did a building level feat, and we know that Homelander got pushed back by Soldier Boy. However, while Homelander is still stronger than Soldier Boy, it still probably wouldn't be enough to beat Spider-Man, who consistently fights people like Rhino, who destroys buildings casual all the time. Heck, in one of his earliest appearances, he nearly washed all the Fantastic Four because the Fantastic Four wouldn't pay him. And people know how strong the Fantastic Four are, at the very least. So, Spider-Man should just destroy Homelander here. Okay, well, what about another character? Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Now, you're probably thinking, Chowder! The fuck? Chowder ain't being Homelander! And, unfortunately, you're wrong. We all know Chowder has some pretty wild Toon Force, being able to just tank a ton of like buildings, chewing gum, which is basically just last episode. Chowder is a very strong individual with this Toon Force, of course. So yeah, he probably just will Homelander. So now we're going to speedrun characters that can beat Homelander. Now, I'm not going to go for the easy ones like Goku or Saitama or even Gojo. Those ones are pretty easy, and I want to pick ones that, you know, out of nowhere, essentially. Word Girl, able to basically lift up an entire meteor and flew from the moon to the sun in a short time, which is very fast. Faster than something that Homelander has ever done. Batman. I know I'm Dante probably going to be so mad about that, but Batman genuinely could just beat Homelander. Able to take care of characters who can destroy buildings similar to Soldier Boy, and we know how Soldier Boy did Homelander. And on top of that, he has a ton of armors and stuff that could put him on the same level as Superman. So, Tanjiro, yes, even with his hallucinogenic effects that aren't real, he's able to fight characters who casually also destroy buildings, so he would also win against Homelander pretty easily. Mr. Satan from Dragon Ball Z. Hercule has consistently taken hits from characters such as Omega Shenron, Cell, and Kid Buu. On top of that, Mr. Satan is just blatantly superhuman and has martial arts experience. Not only would he have more experience on Homelander, but you can argue him being stronger too. Even if you didn't, it would literally just be the SpongeBob scene where he gets punched by that bully for like 2 minutes before Homelander dies of exhaustion. So why is this so thematic? Well, again, because, say it with me now, he ain't that nigga. You can't say if you're white. Don't say if you're white. Homelander, again, as much as his powers are strong, in his verse are not really helping him here, and even characters that aren't even on par with him but have super strength can still push him back. Again, he probably would have lost his powers if like Maeve was there instead of Huey. Actually, I just remembered about this, and yeah, Homelander can beat people like Brightburn. She doesn't like me, I'm gonna go incel. Take this, hiya! Brightburn is essentially just Homelander. Well, Brightburn had a good childhood, he just ruined it. But I assure you, Brightburn 2 ever happens and Brightburn has to fight some dude that got powers, it's over for Brightburn, I'm not gonna lie. Overall, I think Homelander being weak in power scaling and just in general in crossovers is really weak, a good thing. I think it just shows how weak he is as a person and how he's hiding behind his powers when in reality he's just a sad, shallow person. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that bell. But for real though, fade out. I think it just shows how weak he is as a person and how he's hiding behind his powers when in reality he's just a sad, shallow person. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that bell. But for real though, fade out. Why is this so thematic? Well, again, because, say it with me now, he ain't that nigga. In general, in crossovers is really weak, a good thing.